Everything from nuts to IV fluids. Helene just keeps giving and giving. Hello, everybody, and welcome to SuttonsDaze. If you're new here, my name is Lisa, and we are all about pantry preparedness. One of the things with pantry preparedness is that we keep track of what could happen with shortages or distribution issues, that kind of thing, because that impacts our pantry, that impacts our ability to stock our pantry. However, if you have like a very well-stocked pantry, you probably are not going to be impacted by a lot of this. However, with the holidays coming up, I think it's something to pay attention to, and the fact that some of this could impact us literally for years. As most of you know, a few weeks back, Hurricane Helene came through an unprecedented route and caused a lot of damage and a lot of death. And we have been, fighting the good fight ever since. But then the articles started popping up about this is going to be short and that's going to be short and we're experiencing shortages on this. And it's like, whoa, back up. What? So the bulk of the world's peanut production comes mainly from China, India, Nigeria, Sudan, Burma, Argentina, and Senegal. The world peanut production totals about 45 million metric tons per year. The United States is the world's fourth largest producer after China, India, and Nigeria. Our peanut farmers were significantly impacted, very much impacted by this. Right at the time when, harvesting should be happening anytime. And yeah, it's not good. This is going to very negatively impact a bunch of it. And that is from the National Peanut Board. National Peanut Board. Okay, this one is from Agriculture Dive. And it talks about decades of progress gone in a single instant. Assessing the farm damage from Hurricane Helene. Billions of dollars in damage is expected. The USDA is deploying surge teams to assist with recovery efforts as farmers and food giants work to rebuild local communities. Farmers and ranchers are picking up the pieces left by Hurricane Helene after the tropical storm barreled through the southeast, devastating crops, livestock, and agriculture infrastructure. While it's still early to assess the damages from a Category 4 hurricane that made landfall September 26th, to the region's agriculture industry, more details are coming to light as farmers begin to assess their property damage and publicly share their accounts. That has to be some of the most heartbreaking, just horrible. Flooded fields, lost crops, and setbacks. So they're running into all of it. Some of the major commodities grown in the affected parts of North Carolina include apples, tomatoes, dairy and beef cattle, trout, Christmas trees, along with other key crops include corn, soybean, tobacco, sweet potatoes, and cotton. Agritourism is taking a hit as the U-Pick operators assess their losses. Now, my understanding is that a lot of the U-Pick operators were already having a really rough year. And you add this, and that's just everywhere. But then you add this in this area here, and it could mean the loss of the U-Pick. That agritourism is huge. It's really bigger and bigger and bigger and getting bigger. So that's really hard. North Carolina accounts for 20% of the real Christmas trees grown in the United States, and is one of the leading apple-producing states. We don't have any specific estimates on crop loss at this time because it's just too early in the process, she wrote. In Georgia, the storm led to catastrophic damage to poultry farms. Did you think chicken was going to be impacted by this? No. Poultry farms, pecan orchards, and peanut fields. Acres of orchards wiped out with trees uprooted and debris everywhere. Decades of progress gone in a single instant. Literally, they showed a picture of a farm, a pecan farm, where the trees are just laying flat. They're just laying flat on the ground. Some of these trees are close to 100 years old. You don't come back from something like that. Helene is the third hurricane to make landfall in the Florida Gulf area over the past 14 months, following Idalia and Debbie, which together caused more than $700 million in losses to crops, livestock, and agricultural infrastructure. Damage from Helene will cost billions of dollars to repair. It's mind-boggling. Truly, it's mind-boggling. The affected areas from Helene cover over 4.8 million acres and encompasses more than 38,000 crop insurance policies, the USDA reported. The department has instructed crop insurance companies to expedite payments and added new flexibilities for producers to speed up the recovery efforts. So that's good news, right? However, the process for recouping financial losses in the immediate aftermath of the storm has proved difficulty. Many Farm Service Agency offices, which administer disaster programs, are themselves closed or damaged by the storm. You can't do anything if you can't actually get there to work to do it. So it's just stacking up and it's stacking up and it's stacking up, you know? On a good note, farmers, food giants come together to provide relief. In the aftermath of Helene, relief efforts are underway from Tyson Foods, Nestle, and other major agricultural and food companies, serving hot meals in affected areas and donating bottled water and other supplies to communities in need. Nestle is committing $2.3 million in donations, including more than $100,000 to charities around Gaffney, South Carolina, where one of the company's prepared food factories is located. A Tyson spokesperson says, "We were fortunate that Hurricane Helene caused minimal damage to our facilities and has not impeded our ability to continue producing food." Okay, that's good. Really, really a great article. I highly recommend checking it out. I'll have a link down below for it. The next one, yeah, these just are like all over the place. The next one is cotton growers. Oh, cotton growers are facing devastating losses and delays from Hurricane Helene. The storm ripped through the cotton growing regions of Georgia and the Carolinas after making landfall. 400,000 to 800,000 bales may be lost due to the hurricane, though it will take at least 4 to 6 weeks to get more clarity. Helene hit cotton at its most vulnerable stage, with bowls containing seeds and lint open and exposed. It just everything about this storm, everything it touched. Crops in eastern Georgia were the hardest hit, with some growers facing total losses, while others are seeing 30 to 50% drops in production. The hurricane is compounding an already difficult year for cotton farmers, who are expected to see 2024 cash receipts fall 24% from the prior year. It was already bad, you know. Harvest, which usually starts in late summer or early fall, could also face delays as road closures and wet weather make it difficult to move. Cotton is very resilient, but this time of year it needs sun to bleach the fiber and dry it. Cotton can and usually does come back, which is good news. You know, it's not as devastating as, say, you know, the pecan farmers. How do you grow a tree quickly? You don't. The Ledger says the USDA releases dismal forecast of Florida citrus crop, and it doesn't factor in Hurricane Milton. So this was even before Hurricane Milton, because this was published on, well, this is published on the 11th. So we're already looking at a bad citrus crop. And I'm telling you, I haven't heard that they're having a good citrus crop in a few years now. So that's another one to check out. Hurricane Helene leaves crop losses, poultry disruptions in its wake. And I guess of all the things, I didn't think of poultry disruptions, but when you read through this article, it makes absolute sense. Absolute sense. Cotton and peanuts are currently on the front end of the harvest season and are likely to have incurred water and wind damage. Pecan trees were uprooted by strong winds. It would be mostly the fruit and nut crop which will be impacted next year, as damaged and uprooted trees will have to be replaced. And they don't grow overnight, like I said. So you're going to have to watch for that and see what happens. they're talking to officials at Wayne Sanderson's poultry farm processing plant. And so here's the deal. They lost power. They lost power. Okay. They lost power. And so these huge farms that have these barns or whatever they're called that have all of these poultry in it. Chickens are hot. In case you didn't know, a chicken's body temperature is roughly 104 degrees. You never have to worry about them getting really cold. You do have to worry about them getting too hot. And when you have them all in there like that, then they're really hot. And so fans are necessary. Fans run on electricity. They were losing birds due to the heat. Just not good. Helene flooding causes critical IV medical solutions plant in North Carolina to suspend production. This is, well, it is by Fox Weather. Yeah. One of the largest production facilities of dialysis solutions in the country remains shut down following the impacts of Hurricane Helene, with officials monitoring for potential shortages nationwide following the disaster. Baxter International, an Illinois-based healthcare company, said its facility east of Asheville in western North Carolina suffered significant impacts from Helene, with many roadways and bridges left impassable following the storm. The company specializes in IV products and dialysis solutions, which make up about 60% of the country's supply. 60% from one company. It's reiterated again in WBAA.org, the health and science section of it, where they talk about hospital braces for IV fluid shortage after the hurricane because of the same plant. The number one issue for hospitals across the country right now is the inability to get the solution for dialysis. I mean, come on. The biggest unknown right now is how long the shortage will last. Is this something that is 2 weeks and can be mediated quickly, or is this something that's going to impact the healthcare supply chain for years to come? Oh, IV fluids are a cornerstone of patient care. So this is going to be pretty rough. If you are looking at, okay, what do I need to stock up on? Well, the U.S. is the 4th largest producer of peanuts. So if you are into peanuts, peanut butter, you might want to take a look at that. I mean, we typically have, 4 to 6 months of peanut butter stocked up anyway. So if that's something that you can pull off in your budget, why not hedge your bets, Holiday season is coming. Pecans are very popular when it comes to baking. Think about pecan pie alone. I mean, oh my gosh, do I miss pecan pie? There's a good chance that those are going to be in very short supply, or what is available is going to have very high prices. So if pecans are part of your traditions, I highly recommend you get out and get them now, like right now. Okay. Put them in the freezer. The only way to have long-term storage of nuts is to put them in the freezer. You can vacuum seal them. You cannot vacuum seal them. Doesn't matter to me. But definitely put them in the freezer for the longest shelf life. I've had them last up to 5 years. Honestly, I haven't tried to go beyond that. So it's like I'm either feast or famine. Right now I have a freezer full of hazelnuts and walnuts. Walnuts are still the black walnuts from last year. And then some pecans. So even I am going to go out and get a few more pecans, not a whole bunch. And, if you're not going to use them, don't buy them. But if it's something that is part of your traditions for the holidays or whatever, and you really want to have them, go get yourself some pecans and put them in the freezer. Now, typically, I don't know about where you guys are, but the chicken that I like to get typically goes on sale in November, December, January. And I stock up on boneless, skinless chicken breasts if you haven't caught the videos. With the issues that they're having because of the number of birds that they had to dispatch, or the number of birds that died just because of the heat and, everything that's going on there, there's a good chance that we may not see our typical sales on chicken. So keep your eyes peeled. Keep an eye out for them. Make sure that you can catch a sale when it comes around. Don't buy it at its highest price just to be sure that you've got it. You know, it's chicken, okay? So I guess it's cheaper than beef still, but don't panic buy. Please don't panic buy, is I guess what I'm trying to say, because I'm sure that at some point they will do a correction on it and they'll be able to make it happen. Chickens grow pretty quick, you know? And especially if they're doing, you know, the Cornish cross or that kind of thing where it's meat bird specific, they do grow pretty quick. It's something to keep your eye out on and to be aware of, that this may be why the sales are not showing up right away, because it's going to take them a hot minute to recover from all of this. All in all, there's not a whole bunch of horrible shortages. I mean, the saline for the dialysis is probably the worst. The IV fluids are the worst. But there are things that we're going to continue to see that are impacted for quite some time. Like I said, just the pecan trees. Some of these are near 100 years old. Pecan trees. They don't grow quick. So replacing those is not something that's going to happen by next year, you know. Prices are going to go up. So if you can't afford it, and if you can catch a decent price, it's not a bad idea to hedge your bets and stick some in the freezer. For any of your nuts, it's always a good idea. If you like peanuts, might not be a bad idea to do a little bit of that too. But if you're just like us and we just like our peanut butter, you know, might not hurt to put a couple extra jars up in the pantry. It'll just keep you ahead of the price increases when they start to hit. The really good news as far as shortages goes is that they are saying that all of our standards, our corns, our grain, our soybeans, had epic, wonderful year. So we're not going to see shortages like they've been predicting for the last few years. We are going to see a nice, hopefully stagnant course with those. And luckily, they had a good year. Let's hope that they can continue to have good years and we can continue keeping that price stagnant, if not bringing it down a little bit. If you want to check out any or all of the articles that I have referred to during this little chat, the links are down below for them. I hope that you guys check them out because reliable sources are important to me. I want to make sure that if I'm bringing you information, I'm not just making it up, you know. So these are my reliable sources. These are my industry sources. And I hope that you'll take a peek and see what's going on there. If you want to check out different ways that you can stock your pantry, definitely check out this playlist right here. And until next time, everybody, be safe and stack it to the rafters.